As a proud British man, I was flying the BF-109 and FW-190 way too much recently, and I was starting to feel way too German for my liking. So I decided to play around with all the RAF planes that are available in the game, as well as buying a not needed new Spitfire that recently got released. Playing a new faction in IL-2 is fun, as the planes have a different personality compared to the German aircraft. The British planes are fast and have an aura of protection and comfort, shared with the American aircraft. There are currently 7 RAF aircraft to choose from in IL-2. 1 from the Battle of Normandy DLC, 2 from the Battle of Bodenplatte DLC, and 4 collectibles. The Hurricane Mark II entered service in 1940 and was then leased to the Soviet Air Force in 1941. Even though the aircraft had a good turning speed, the plane was too slow compared to the BF-109 and it was well under-armoured, with 8x .303 machine guns, which were practically pea shooters. However, the upgrades made up for the shortfalls. The Mark IIb modification, Mark IIc, Mark IId, and the Soviet editions of the aircraft, as well as engine modifications to make it go a little bit faster. The Supermarine Spitfire, entered RAF service in August 1938 and became legendary to the British public over the summer of 1940 during the Battle of Britain. It was easy to upgrade with many new engines, armaments and cockpit designs being made to keep the Spitfire up to date. The first of the Spitfires is the Spitfire MkIXIV, which was introduced in early 1941 and improved upon the Spitfire Mark Is and IIs by introducing a new Merlin 45 engine and the addition of 2x 20mm Hispano cannons to give the Spitfire some extra firepower. Not many modifications on the aircraft, just a mirror and an upgraded engine. I tend to use the .303 MGs as an indicator for my 20mm cannons to save ammunition. Beware of all FW-190 variants, as they are just about better in every category compared to the MkIXIV Spitfire. The Spitfire MkIXe was originally a stopgap measure to counter the FW-190 scourge of early 1942, but did the job of being on par with the 190. In keeping its manoeuvrability, it also had the option of clipped wings, significantly improving the roll rate of the aircraft, as well as engine modifications to keep up with the FW-190. Its modifications also include either 150 grade fuel or the Merlin 70 engine, as well as being the first Spitfire in IL-2 to have rockets and bombs for ground attack missions. Also, the gyro gun sight is a good upgrade to take, as the gun sight also includes a bore sight so you can aim your shots manually, as well as being able to track a target in the moving pit. The Spitfire Mark XIV brings some more good changes to the Spitfire in January 1944 with another upgraded engine. This time, the new Griffin engine was fitted, giving it a new top speed of around 574 km an hour at sea level. The upgrades finally introduced an alternative to the .303 MGs, with 50 cals being added, as well as bombs and clipped wing modifications, as well as gyro gun sights and the 150 grade fuel. The Spitfire Mark XIV also needed to shoot down enemy V1 rockets, and it did this by having a modification that gets rid of the MGs and fed over the firing ports for increased speed. The last Spitfire is the Mark XIVe with the teardrop canopy that was just released a couple of weeks ago. It came into service shortly before the end of the war in March 1945. To be honest, it doesn't add much to the Spitfire line apart from having a bubble canopy. Pretty much is the same as the Spitfire Mark XIV with the same-ish modifications. I haven't played much in this model particular, so I might have missed some information on this one. The Typhoon came into service in September 1941, but was plagued with problems which were eventually resolved by D-Day, where it became a prevalent ground attack aircraft. Modifications revolved around the use of 8x rockets with either AP or HE capability, depending on the situation, as well as 500 and 1000 kg general purpose bombs. A modified engine, 4-bladed propellers, and additional armour are available to choose from as modifications. Be careful of dogfighting enemy aircraft, as the Typhoon has a very slow roll rate, which means that they can't keep up with the more manoeuvrable German fighters. The final RAF fighter aircraft is the Tempest, which was the successor to the Typhoon and was one of the fastest propeller-driven aircraft by the end of the war. Its speed was essential, as it had the job of catching and destroying the V1 rocket bombs, as well as being able to compete on certain terms against the Me-262 jet fighter. Not many modifications apart from 500 and 1000 kg bomb upgrades, as well as engine upgrades as well. The plane is very fun to fly and is extremely fast, and one of the most satisfying things you can do is shooting down a 262 jet by diving on them from behind and going as fast as them. And that's about it to this little guide on RAF fighters. I hope you guys enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed making this video, as well as flying these aircraft for the first time. If you do like this video, please give a like and subscribe down below. Also, comment down below what I should fly next.